Today, we're diving into the incredible architecture of the plant world. I'm talking about the hidden blueprints that define, every flower, every tree, every single blade of grass. And to really get it, we're going to look at the work of a scientist whose research basically wrote the book on the entire field.
I mean, really think about that question. How does any scientist at 99 years old come to absolutely dominate an entire field of biology? It sounds, kind of impossible, right? Not just contributing, but dominating for that long? Just how?
And look, this isn't some kind of exaggeration. That's a direct quote from Peter Raven, a big name at the Missouri Botanical Garden. He was talking about a true giant in the world of science. So, okay, let's meet the woman who earned a tribute like that.
Right. So, the person we're talking about is Dr. Catherine Esau. In the world of botany, her name is legendary. And her life story? Well, it's just as amazing as her science. Just look at this timeline. She was born in Ukraine way back in 1898 and pretty much dedicated her entire life to figuring out plants. Get this, in 1957, she became only the 6th woman ever to be elected to the super prestigious National Academy of Sciences. And then, in 1989, she got the National Medal of Science. Her career literally spanned an entire century. It's wild. And one of her books, Anatomy of Seed Plants from 1960, got this amazing nickname. People started calling it the Webster of plant biology. I mean, stop and think about that for a second. Her work was so complete, so fundamental, that everyone just agreed it was the dictionary for the whole subject.
So, what exactly was this field that she mastered? Well, her famous books were all about plant anatomy, the inside stuff. But to get there, you have to start on the outside by understanding a plant's external shape and all its features. And that field, that's called morphology. And all morphology really is the study of an organism's external structure. So for plants, we're talking about their roots, their stems, leaves, flowers, fruits, all the parts you can see. It's about knowing what's what.
But here's the cool part. Morphology isn't just about creating a checklist of parts. It's really about asking why. Why is a plant shaped the way it is? How does its form, everything from what's happening underground to what's reaching for the sun, help it survive and do its thing? It's really this beautiful meeting point of form and function.
All right, so let's get into the basics here. When you look at pretty much any flowering plant, you can break it down into 2 main systems. Just think of it as a bottom half and a top half. So the part that's underground, that's the root system. Its whole job is to anchor the plant and, maybe most importantly, soak up water and minerals from the soil. Then, everything you see above ground, the stem, leaves, flowers, all that stuff, that's called the shoot system. It takes care of things like photosynthesis and making more plants.
And even just with roots, there's so much variety. Check out these 2 types. On the left, you've got a taproot system. Think of a carrot. One big main root goes straight down, which is awesome for finding water deep in the soil. On the right, that's a fibrous root system, like what you see with grass. It's this dense network of roots right near the surface, which is fantastic for holding soil in place. See? 2 totally different strategies for staying alive.
Okay, so we've looked down, now let's look up. We're going to zoom in on that shoot system and learn some of the basic language that botanists use. And trust me, these are like the fundamental building blocks you need to identify pretty much any plant.
Okay, first term, nodes. Super simple. A node is just the spot on a stem where a leaf is attached. That's it. Think of them as little intersections or connection points.
And what about the space on the stem between 2 of those nodes? Well, that's called an internode. It's basically the straight part of the stem that creates space between the leaves and gives the plant its height. So you've got nodes, where things connect, and internodes, the spaces in between.
Now let's look at the leaf itself. We can break it down into 3 main parts. First, you have the leaf base. That's just the part that attaches to the stem right at the node. Then there's the petiole, which is the little stalk connecting the main leaf part to the stem. And finally, you have the lamina. That's the big, flat, green part we all think of as the leaf. It's the solar panel doing all the hard work of photosynthesis. Okay, so we've got roots, stems, leaves, nodes, but what's the big deal? Why is it so important to know all this stuff? Why does understanding a plant's shape even matter? Well, here's the bottom line. Understanding morphology is literally the foundation of all botany. It's the language we use to tell millions of plant species apart. It's how we figure out their amazing adaptations, like, why a cactus is all spines and a water lily has those huge floating leaves. And that knowledge is absolutely essential for everything from agriculture to conservation. It's really our window into the incredible diversity of life on this planet.
So, I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. The next time you're walking outside, just stop and take a really close look at a plant. Any plant, a flower, a weed, whatever. Don't just see it as a green thing. Try to spot the nodes, the internodes. Think about what kind of roots it might have underground. Ask yourself, what story is this plant's shape telling me? You might be amazed at the details you start to notice.